today at the workshop. Hi. Welcome back to Christina's Garage Gearhead in Training. Today is officially day one of SEMA. I have a bunch of interviews lined up for us today, so let's go inside and get started. This is Central Hall, where most of, I believe, the hot rod stuff is, but there's Central Hall, West Hall, South Upper, South Lower, West and North. There's a lot of different halls. Each one has something different to offer, but a couple of the interviews that I have lined up today are in Central Hall. I'm heading over to there right now. Times are getting hard for you, little girl. I'm a hummer and a summon all over God's world. This is Joey with Granatelli Motorsports. I walked by here the other day and was looking underneath the truck and couldn't figure out where the engine was. We were able to start a conversation, and I really want him to share his story. Would you mind telling everybody?
Yeah, so let's start with, this was a project that started 7 years ago. We originally started with an F100 Ford truck. We bought our shocks and we're like, shoot, this is way too big. They're not gonna fit. So we were just driving down the road and we're like, hey, what if we just buy a crashed Chevy truck? So we went to the junkyard, bought a crashed Chevy truck, started building the project, and then we ran into a little problems like any project does. So the shocks actually in the rear are 7 feet tall if they're fully extended, which is a foot above me, which is absolutely crazy. And then the shocks in the front stand 4 feet tall. So it has 36 inches of travel in the front. So this front tire will go 3 feet up, and will go through when it's fully. If you put this car on the front of a forklift, the tire will actually drop 3 feet to the ground before the tires even come off the ground.
That's crazy.
So you can drive this thing over anything. A curb, no problem. K-rails, what is that? So this is like the ultimate. This is what we call a luxury pre-runner. So we just took the pre-runner, which is an awesome thing that a lot of people do. We just took it way overboard. So it runs 40-inch tires in the front, 40-inch tires in the rear. It has a LS7 with a supercharger that's located right here in the middle of the cab. So a lot of pre-runners will have it in the front. We extended it back just because the arms and the tires are just so big.
That was the thing that I noticed when I walked by. I couldn't figure out, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. When I walked by, I couldn't figure out whether it had an engine or not. I was like,
a lot of people come up and they're like, "Is it a hybrid? Like, where's the motor?" But no, we extended it back just so it has a lot more travel for off-roading use.
That's
but
so cool.
I can tell you, this truck will probably never see the dirt because we don't want to scratch it.
It's a show car.
It's a show pre-runner.
Why did you do it?
So we did it. Well, originally when we were gonna go with the Ford, the single cab Ford, was kind of like, hey, our budget is 30 grand. Let's just build a truck that we can go to the dunes or to the dirt and just destroy and not really care. And then when we moved over to this truck, we're like, okay, you know what? SEMA's right around the corner. We're like, let's just build something absolutely insane because we have an IndyCar background. So we really wanted to take the luxury pre-runner way to the next level, and I think we kind of took it a little too far.
Well, now are you going to build another one that you can actually use
Yes,
for
we are
play?
actually going to build another one. Hopefully it doesn't take 7 years to build because I'll be too old to drive it and it'll hurt my back.
Yeah, like me. I don't know. You were saying that you can desert dunes and
yes, desert
sounds
dunes.
fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but stuff breaks and it's very expensive.
Yeah, that was one reason with my Camaro. My dad wanted to do like a show drag car. He wanted to tub it and everything, and I'm like,
yeah, mini tub, yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that because I want to actually drive it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
So if you're going to do another one.
Yeah, we're going to build another one that's just more, I would say, just trophy truck. So it'll have no luxury, no suede headliner, no suede seats, no AC, no navigation system with Bluetooth, no flashy lights everywhere. Probably a vinyl, not a expensive paint job on it.
So that if you take it out,
yeah,
you're
when
not,
I take it
like,
out, we
crying.
can use it, abuse it, and if the fenders blow off, it's, hey, fender blew off.
So with your business, what do you guys specialize?
We really specialize in ignition coils, ignition wires, and exhaust components. So on this vehicle, it is running every product we make. So it has our full oval exhaust tubing. 3-inch tubing, mandrel bended. So it really gives you the ground clearance. Even though you really don't need ground clearance in a truck like this, we did it just to show it off. This car is extremely quiet. When people were coming in, they're like, what is it? Is it a hybrid? Is that because a lot of electric cars now are running speakers for exhausts.
I think I heard that on one of the other cars.
A couple of cars over there. They're running speakers for exhaust. They're like, that thing should be like extremely loud, obnoxious, but we wanted to keep it low key because when we do drive it every day on the road, we don't want it to be like, oh, look at that truck. And then the cops just look at you like, hey, that doesn't look right.
Well, they're probably going to stop you because it's cool.
Yes, I know they're going to stop us because it's cool, but we just don't want it to be too red-thumbed.
That's awesome. Do you mind giving us a tour?
Yeah, let's take a look around the truck.
So since we can't take the hood off,
we're going it's a little hard to take the roof off. We actually located the motor 3 feet back from its original location. So where the front of the motor would be right here, we pushed it back. So the throttle body, which is probably hard to see, is way up here, which it should be right here. So we just did that we're running shocks that are a little extraordinary or a little extreme for everyday road use. But you can see everything here, solid J-arms, which is a very off-road design. Everything we do is super beefy because we didn't want this truck to break at all. So radiator, cooling. It runs 6 fans in the back, which we'll take a look at that a little bit later. And then we have rock lights just to kind of show the glamorous. So if you turn the cameras right around to right here, it has rock lights. So it kind of gives it, when you're in the middle of the desert and you can't see, instead of having lights, having your flashlight and like, oh, hold it here, hold it there. We have rock lights.
Oh, I didn't even realize that would be a thing. That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. So let's take a look inside the vehicle now. So what's great about our truck is all the body line still fits true. So it closes just like a passenger car, right? Which a lot of designers, when you're building a big truck like this, when you cut out the floor, it starts to twist the car because it loses all its strength. But with ours, we actually made it so the body line is still true to itself. So let's open the door. It's still, a lot of pre-runners will actually weld this door shut so it doesn't open. But since this is our luxury pre-runner and we want this to win Battle of the Builders, which is a huge honor if we do, that's why we did it. So it has full suede leather Alcantara, has shock seats. So when you're actually driving it off-road, the seat has its own little shock inside.
Oh, no way. Like the seats themselves?
Yeah, the seat has a spring inside of it. So it's super duper cushy. When we designed it, we wanted it to have 2 briefcases, so it could be an everyday. So you can put your purse, your handbag, your kind of like a small carry-on item behind you. So we just jump in here, right? We have dome lights, right? So it's fully lit. So if we, oh no, it doesn't worry about that. So Holley dashboard, full navigation system. You can see over here, big.
Let's see if I can sneak in around the corner.
A big 12-inch screen right here. So on a normal pre-runner, you don't need the speedometer, you don't need RPM because you're driving so fast through the desert.
Oh, yeah, you don't have time. From the other side. See if I can sit in while holding the camera.
Yeah.
Oi. Oh, let's see. Trying it one-handed. Okay. Oh, this is cool. And yes, I have my tutu on. So what were you were showing the dash?
Okay, so we're showing, so everything, when you are driving a pre-runner truck, everything is on the passenger side because he's going to tell you through the intercom what's going on, if you're having any problems, the oil temperatures, right? Because nobody wants a car to overheat or lose oil because that'd be bad, break it. So everything is in the center console. So if I wanted to do turn signals, ignition, headlights, I don't want to blind the guy in front of me because that would be kind of rude. Work lights. So the work lights, which we'll take a look again, are white lights instead of having the blue lights underneath. Mm-hmm. But pretty much we gave every creature comfort of having a normal everyday truck. Just took it to the extreme.
That's awesome.
Little pre-runner system.
I would probably do that all day just because
it's
clicks.
super fun.
That's
but
awesome.
So you're not, when you walk around the show, you're going to see not many race cars or luxury cars have Bluetooth navigation in a truck that does the capability of this. Another cool feature is we have a refrigerator in the back, which right now it's at -3, but you can feel it's ice cold in there.
Oh wow, it's huge.
Yeah, it's humongous.
When you build your second one, are you going to put a fridge in that one too?
Probably not, because we'll probably put 3 seats in it just so somebody else can have fun too. But yeah, it has a full sound system, which is kind of nice.
That's awesome. Cool. You wanted to show us the lights on the outside?
If you come over here, you can see underneath, we just changed the lights from blue to white.
Oh, with the button that you pushed?
Yeah, with the button I pushed. So, what we can do for you is, when we built the truck, everything is one man unless the hood, because the hood is just so massive. So, let me put this down. You can see it just literally lifts, and you shimmy it, and it comes right off. We'll just put this off to the side, and we'll just show you those big...
Oh, they might not be able to hear you because you put the sound thing down.
We're going to show off the big 7-foot shock. So you can see it's fully compressed in here right now. It's absolutely massive. 2 Optima batteries, because with all these lights, it does take a lot of power. So 2 12
and
volts.
those are the ones that you said that these would be.
Yeah,
what?
so these things, if you took this out, the thing would be 7 feet tall. The
That's
shocks
crazy.
would be 7 feet tall.
How did
yeah.
you get them in there then? If like, do they compress them when you?
Yes,
get
they
them?
do compress them. So what we had to do is we had to get a forklift and we had to lift up the back of the truck, and then you literally just push them down where they need to go.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Another great thing is this thing has a 120-gallon gas tank. So with gas prices right now, it's well over $1,000, which is pay to play. So
what would the gas mileage be on this?
the
truck
gas
then?
mileage on this would actually not be that bad. Before we had this motor in the truck, I had it in a 2010 Camaro, and on the highway, I was averaging 27 miles per gallon. So with a heavy truck like this, we'll probably see 10 to 15, which is not bad when you compare it to a new Escalade is getting the same gas mileage, but doesn't have all the cool stuff like this on it. I would rather drive this every day than an Escalade, but I don't want to pay for the gas.
Yeah, that's true. And then you got like the full-size tire in the back.
Yeah, so we have 2 full-size 40-inch tires in the back too. So if you want to come around here, I'm gonna pull this back for you.
Oh, you got 2.
Yeah, we got 2, and we have a backup camera.
That I think that would be like, because how else would you be able to see?
Exactly. Well, you can't see down.
Out?
You can kind of see over the tires, but let's just say you were off-roading and you did get in a sticky situation. You want to make sure that you're not going to run over a rock or go off a cliff, because that'd be bad
no
news
cliffs,
bears.
especially with navigation nowadays.
Exactly.
It's like rerouting and it takes you off a cliff.
Please make a legal U-turn when possible.
That's awesome.
But I'm so glad you came by. We got confirmation that we are making it to the next round of Battle of the Builders, so we did make top 10 in our division. So we'll just see where it goes from there.
Thank you so much for giving me the
It's
tour.
no problem. Thank you for stopping by. It was kind of funny watching you, you're getting lower and lower and lower. Like, where's the motor?
Well, so him and his dad were both sitting in the truck as I'm walking by, and they're like, "What is this weirdo trying to
What is she looking at?" Like, we understand she wanted to see the truck, but just like the curiosity of like, what am I looking at? Like, I understand your channel is it's KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So, which is good, right? Because it simplifies everything, where you're trying to teach everybody, like, hey, you're not as knowledgeable as I am, but there's stuff that you do that you know more than me. So I've watched a lot of your videos last night. I literally went on your channel, click, 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 click. I went through your Instagram, which is very funny. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
You know, it was an excuse today because it's
Exactly.
Halloween to wear my
it's Halloween.
tutu.
You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, if you want to follow us back up, you can follow us at granatelli
Okay.
We're building another car on there called Project S Fox. Originally, it's called Project Shit Fox.
That's
because
funny.
it was a complete dump. It was a vehicle, they said, that was never crashed, clean title. We looked at it. It said the VIN number said it had a clean title. We took the car apart, and it looked like somebody ran it over with a train.
Oh,
so
man.
it drove straight, so it drove fine. It looked fine, but it's a project we're working on. That will be done for next season. our next SEMA show, so it will be here. So if you want to stop by next year,
The goal is to be able to come back next year.
You will be here next year. I know it. But yeah, we'll take a video of that, and that one will be even more extreme than this car.
Sweet.
You'll
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, like where we put the engine now, like on the roof.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 years from now. We're gonna put a rear engine. But
yeah, you guys are gonna have to stay tuned
exactly.
for that. And you said, so I followed you on Instagram, but would you mind telling them how they could follow you on
yeah,
Instagram?
so if you go to Instagram, it's granatellimotorsports.com. We'll just probably put it below.
Yeah, he'll send me this stuff and I'll put it in the caption.
It's really long.
Yeah.
And then I'll also tag you in the new project we're working on, so you can put that also in the video. It's
awesome.
It's a 91 Fox body Mustang. It's gonna have an LS swap in it, and the suspension on that is gonna be pretty extreme. It's gonna have aerodynamics to the moon. It's gonna be pretty wicked.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, thank you. Go ahead and follow Joey and his dad, Big Joe, and follow their next project.
Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
That was awesome. I'm really excited to see what Joey and Big Joe do. I am going to stay in touch because I realize they're in California, Southern California, which I'm going to be there in December. So it'd be really cool to actually connect with them as I'm traveling. And I'm trying to walk without, oh, that's cool. Getting distracted by all the pretty things. Yeah, I'm going to walk through here. I have another friend I want to introduce you guys to. I don't know if he's going to be busy talking to people, but I'm going to try to walk around and see who else we can snag for an interview. It's funny, some people are asking, or like saying nice tutu, and I'm letting them know that it's not just because it's Halloween, I'm just using it as an excuse to actually wear it out in public, because as you can tell, nobody here are wearing costumes. They said maybe later tonight people are gonna be wearing costumes, but I just figured this is my way of wearing my tutu. I did want to do the blow up dinosaur costume, but I didn't think logistically that would work out very well with trying to be next to cars and all of that, so maybe next time. I just connected with the guys at Willwood, and I'm going to be heading out there in December, so that's going to be really neat to actually talk with them a bit more and learn more about their products, since I do have the Willwood brakes for my Camaro. I was pointed to, trying to make sure that, ooh, I gotta stop and look. That's pretty. I got distracted, but they told me there was like a women's group, so I'm walking around to look for that because it'd be really neat. I haven't connected with any women's groups that do cars. I'm trying to make sure I don't walk into people as I'm walking through, but I'm gonna search for that now. This is really cool. Let's see, what is it? It's a EV Ferrari. That's crazy. It looks super futuristic. It almost looks like it only has one seat. It's got three. The middle seat's really interesting looking. Look at that one. The red. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got lost trying to find this girls group, but a lot of cool things to see. Check out this is Future Tech Studio. They have a bunch of cars. Let's see if I can scoot around the people here. Ooh, pretty colors. It's got like a TV in there. Interesting. And it looks like each of them have, I don't know if each of them have their own panel with like those paper things standing next to them. See if there's some more information on, what is this? This is Sierra Echo. Yeah, maybe in the future I'll be able to understand what's so futuristic about all of them. Future tech, oh. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. If Barbie needed a new car, look at all the sparkles on this thing. Yeah, I was thinking total Barbie car. Well, now that you guys know that I'm big about colors, I love the red with the black. Even their display matches it. And look at these seats. Let's see if I can get around. Oh, and the doors open sideways like that? That's really cool. Bucket seats. Oh, you can even see there's texture on the body of the car. I was able to find the she shed, and I am hopefully going to interview one of the founders, Theresa, later today. They're going to do a speaking engagement, and then hopefully I'll be able to connect with her afterwards to have her share a little bit more about, I guess it's 3 different groups together, but I'm hoping that we can connect a little bit more later. This is Marty with Bump and Grind Auto Body, and this is a car that you helped build?
Yes, correct.
And so can you tell us like what it is?
So it's a 70 C10. It's a 427 big block Chevy. It's got twin turbos on it. It's got a turbo 400 trans. There's a lot of little subtle things that we changed on it and did differently. We tried to keep it clean and classic, but at the same time, custom and modern, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because it's so clean. I noticed like just looking underneath, there's not a whole bunch going on.
Correct.
Like how were you able to do that so there wasn't so much clutter?
So everything when we were doing it, we wanted to just hide as much as we possibly can. So like wiring, any kind of lines, everything was hidden as much as we can to just try to keep it as clean and simple to where it almost looks like it won't drive, but it does.
Yeah, it almost doesn't look like it's like real.
Exactly.
That's so cool. And you were mentioning it was built for the shop's wife?
Correct. So the truck is named CST Storm because the owner's wife, Wendy, her nickname is Stormy. So we came up with CST Storm because we built the truck for her. It was something that she's always wanted. She always wanted a C10. She kept on asking for one. So we found one. It was actually an all-original truck with 30,000 miles on it that sat in a barn for 30 years. And she loved it the way that it was. And she was ready to drive it. She's like, I'll just clean it up and I'll drive it the way that it is. And we ended up doing this to it.
That's so cool. And so you were talking about like when we look at the grill, I didn't know other cars did hideaway headlights. I didn't realize these were hideaway headlights.
Correct. So this is a company called Hot Rod Innovations. They actually make the grill with the hideaway headlights and everything like that, and then we just tweaked it to make it our own, if that makes sense. There were some couple things that we wanted to do a little different just so it wasn't like everybody else's. But yeah, they offer the kit, and the headlights actually fold in just like a 69 Camaro would, and then they come back and it's all electric.
That's so cool. When you guys were building it, how long did it take?
So this truck took just about a year to do the whole thing. It was kind of when we had free time and space in between doing customers' vehicles and stuff like that, and that's when we would be able to work on this. So it just took about a year to do.
Did Wendy help in choosing the color
Yes.
and all that?
So that's the big debate. She did pick a color, and then she kind of got voted out of it. And that's when it kind of came up with the green, but then she loves the green now. So
That's
it's
great.
like we all work together with coming up with ideas, color schemes, everything like that. There were certain things that she wanted, but then there was stuff that we threw in there, like the turbos. Like she had no idea that we were going to do turbos on it. She really wanted air ride on it, and that was kind of something that me and her teamed up with on getting air ride because the owner just wanted to do a static drop on it, the owner of the shop, Kevin. So we ended up doing an air ride kit. Then we put the air ride kit on it, and I sent him a picture, and he's like, oh, it looks great. He goes, see, static drop looks fine. And I said, yeah, that's on air. And he's like, what? He goes, can we get it to go lower? And I said, yeah, we can get it to go lower, but we're going to have to get crazy with it. So then we C-notched the back of the frame. We changed the front control arms on it. We had to notch parts on the firewall to get it to sit as low as it possibly can because it's still on a stock chassis. It's not an aftermarket chassis. Everything that's done on the chassis was done in-house at our shop. And it was funny because the chassis was already powder coated. It was ready to go because the way that we were originally going to build the truck, it wasn't going to be this. It was going to be a driver. It was going to be something fun. You can get in and just cruise around everywhere, just a plain static drop. And then one thing led to the next. Air ride turned into turbos, which turned into this, which turned into that. And here we are with this truck, and it's been all over the place. We've been to Tennessee with it. It's been invited to multiple shows and stuff like that, which is really cool. We actually were runner-up for Truck of the Year, late finalists for Good Guys. We won Truck of the Year at the C10 Nationals. And then we ended up getting a top 20 at Chicago World of Wheels with it. So it's done really well for what it is, and the truck wasn't even really built to be a show car. It was built just something cool that we could drive around with and have just a cool car. And then one thing led to the next, and we're like, oh, let's take it to the show just because we wanted to go and hang out. And we ended up winning something with it. So then we'd go to another show, and we ended up winning with it. And we weren't expecting to win anything with it. We didn't build it for that. We built it just to have fun. And then we were grateful enough that the Richmond Gear guys, they asked if we could bring it down here for the SEMA show. And it was an awesome experience to be able to be invited down to the show with the truck.
And it's perfect with the display. I feel like it brings all the attention to the truck. When you say that it doesn't sit low like this all the time, because I always wonder that when I walk by and they're really low to the ground.
No, so right now it's completely aired out. It's completely sitting on the ground. The trans, if you look underneath it, the trans is on the ground. But you actually raise it up. We have certain settings with air pressure on how much we want in it, but the car will actually raise up to a ride height, and then that's how you drive it around.
Okay, yeah, because when you were mentioning, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. When I look some that are like literally, as you said, on the ground, speed bumps probably scare you a little bit.
Oh, railroad tracks still scare you.
Oh man, so you said it's won multiple times. Is there something specific about this truck that they like that's so different from the others?
It's a lot of little subtle things that are done to it. Like when Good Guys did their article, they said if Chevy would have made a truck, this is what they would have made it. If Chevrolet had a C10 and a Camaro mix, this would have been it. And this has the best of both worlds, which is kind of cool. Everybody talks about everybody likes different things about it. Like little small things, the side marker lights are shaved down. Most people wouldn't notice it unless you know a C10. It's got 2020 Mustang mirrors on it. You would never know it unless you really knew what you were looking for. The hood has 67 Chevelle louvers on it, which is a factory GM. It's a factory GM car that had these. We just took them off a 67 Chevelle and put them onto our truck. It's got 69 Camaro hideaway headlights. Everything that was done subtle to where you really had to know the truck to know what was done to it, if that makes sense.
Got it. It's as you're saying, it's very subtle. When I see it, like being a new person, it looks really pretty, but I don't know like what exactly was put into it. Would you be able to give us a tour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you tell us what's under the hood?
So it's a 427 big block Chevy, twin turbos. They're twin 76 millimeters. We handmade all the piping and the air cleaner section of it. It's got all custom handmade inner wheel houses and core support cover. That was a mixture of us and Hart Fab. They're the ones who kind of sold us the kit, and then we built it to the way that we wanted it. It's a custom olive green color. It's got the hideaway headlights like we were talking about earlier. It's a smoothie bumper, but it's also been cut, tucked, and pushed in. We have the matching grills on the bottom that match the headlights, and those are actually fog lights on the bottom of the bumper.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's so cool. Very functional. I mean, because you said it was going to be essentially to be a driver.
Yeah, we drive the car. We don't drive it like a new car, but we do drive it. We take it to local car shows, cruise nights, stuff like that. We drive it to work. The owner's wife drives it to the shop when she comes in and stuff like that. This is the section of the hood that I was talking about that have the 67 Chevelle louvers.
And I learned the louvers means that it's fake and that it's not like actually, it's supposed to look like it actually vents, but it doesn't.
Correct.
Awesome.
And then we had custom emblems made from Rad Machining out of Michigan. They made us the emblems there.
That's neat. It looks like it's supposed to be on there.
Correct. He based them off of kind of a factory script and came up with those.
Neat.
2020 Mustang mirrors, just like the interior, like I was telling you, everything is clean and kind of classic. You would think that it kind of has that factory feel with the inserts in the seats and everything. The gauge cluster is actually the original gauge cluster, and that's the real mileage on the car from when we got the car. Wow. It's got 35,000 miles on it.
So that's where you're like, you want to drive it, but also not rack up the miles. It is so clean. I love just how and the colors all go together. And this is probably my favorite part, especially now you got to share with everybody else what the story is behind this.
So this bedwood is actually called frackling. They do it to like tables and other wood items, and I seen them doing a table once on Facebook, and it made me think, well, it'd be kind of cool to do it in a bed, and that's where we came up with this. It's actually done with 20,000 volts of electric and water. And
That's so cool.
the water is the conductor between the negative and positive. So we did all of the bed floor like that. And then it was funny because after I got done doing it, one of my friends actually told me stories about people burning their houses down, getting electrocuted and all this stuff. And I had no idea that it was that dangerous when I was doing it. I just thought it looked cool. And the owner's wife loves it. She thinks it was the coolest thing that we did, just because it's different, and everybody says that it's different.
And did you have to put like an additional seal on it, or does it seal itself when you do this process?
It is actually sealed. It has a matte seal on it, so this way it doesn't warp or anything like that in the weather.
That's so cool.
All the trim was actually sandblasted, and then we made a custom color in-house that matches the wheels, and the trim was sandblasted so it has the same feel as the wheels, because the wheels are actually textured as well. And then it has the matching interior color on the inside of the trim, and then the carbon fiber on the bottom trim to match all the carbon fiber on the inside of the car.
And as you said, it's like all of the little details that people put in.
Correct.
To make it really come together.
And then when you go to the back, it has a handmade wing, which is actually strutless. Most of these wings on these, they have struts that come down to hold them for the downforce. We made a strutless wing for it. You have the carbon fiber inserts on the back of the tailgate as well to match on the hood, match the interior, just to kind of keep all the colors going together. The red pinstripes are to match the red on the calipers on the Willwood brakes.
Oh, pinstripes! I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
Where are
there's
they?
red pinstripes around the carbon fiber there and around the hood.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's so cool. That's amazing. And you said how long did it take? A year?
Just about a year.
Wow. That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Marty. This is really cool, and I want to know what's your next project.
So actually, this one after this show, I guess you can say we're kind of retiring it. And we're just going to start driving it. We want to do the tailgate tour with it, which is it's like a power tour, but for trucks.
Okay.
And we are actually building another C10 right now. So it's kind of something that we're not telling anybody about, for the fact of we don't want to tell them what we're doing to it, because we're still trying to do the same thing, do something different than what everybody else has been doing on C10s. But we are building another one. It's a 67.
And if people want to follow your journey, especially once you start working on, if people want to follow your journey and watch your next project, where should they follow you at?
So we have an Instagram. It's Bump and Grind Auto Body. And then we also have a Facebook page as well. We post a lot on there. And then I post on my story as well for Instagram, which is FNA_Marty. So you could either find it on there or find it on Bump and Grinds, one way or another. Whether I post it, Bump and Grind usually shares it. But yeah, that's how we usually get it out there.
Perfect. And he'll send me all the info so I can put it in the description.
Yep. Take two.
Like, hi, hello. So I'll add everything in the description so that we don't have someone crossing by while we're chatting. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Marty. It was great
very
meeting
nice to
you.
meet you.
It's all so cool. You looking tired, you looking.
I'm here with Theresa with the Real Deal Revolution. I was over at the Willwood booth and telling them about my story, and they suggested I come over here and talk to you guys.
Love that.
So
Love
can
that.
you share, like, they were saying all women, but could you like go into a little bit more detail about that?
Sure, yeah. No, so what we did is we created the She Shed this year, and that was the idea of bringing more women together. So we were all individually doing our thing, right? So I have Real Deal Revolution. It's a nonprofit that I started with Jessie Combs and myself in 2014. And basically her and I loved building stuff in the garage and hanging out. And that's what we did when we were together, you know, and we wanted to see more women doing that. We met on an all-female SEMA SBN build. That was the first all-female build of SEMA. And so we really were like, hey, like, you like doing stuff I like doing. We loved motorcycles, so that was another thing that we had a connection with. And so Real Deal was about us just going to events and teaching women, you know, skilled trades. And so it's traveling workshops that we do now. And so we had Real Deal Revolution, and then, Jessie passed in 2019. So with her passing started the Jessie Combs Foundation. And with the foundation, they wanted, to keep her spirit alive and what that was. So they're doing a lot with like the next generation and with scholarships and everything like that. And then we have Girl Gang Garage, and that was with Bogey. Jessie also worked with Bogey doing all girls garage. So Bogey, same thing, has the idea and concept of bringing women together, doing all female builds and bringing that community mindset of skilled trades together like that. And so all of us, we're doing all these things. We're all friends, each doing our own thing. So we've been building our communities, separately a little bit. And we were like, that's not the idea. The idea is to bring this community together. And we want people to know that there's other people out there doing this. And, the idea of She Shed is stronger together. So it was encompassing all of these women's organizations already and bringing that together to showcase that we're all out there to accomplish the same thing, to support each other and other women doing this, and, bringing more. I love the automotive industry. I want to see more people in it. I think, you're just getting into it, and you see how exciting it is. And coming to this booth, you already know there's an energy, there's a pull, there's a feeling that you get passionate about it, and so you just want to do more of it. And that's how we are, and we want to infuse other people with exactly the same thing. So,
and it's really cool. Like when I walked over, I could just kind of tell.
Good.
And like being a woman,
Yeah.
like it's one of those things where, like background being in the fire department, like I am inspired by strong women that just go out and do, not saying, well, I'm a woman, so like that's why I'm special. It's like, okay, well, you're a woman, you're special, right? But like it inspires me to see women like yourself that just go out there and do it and do a good job, and not do the, oh, well, because I'm a woman, they should like help me here. And it's really, really inspiring to see. I think we need to see more of that, especially with culture and stuff right now, like really helping people empower themselves by, as you said, like you travel around and help them learn trades.
Yeah.
I signed up to do the carburetor rebuild because I didn't know who Jessie was beforehand. Would you mind explaining who she was and like why it's so important to keep her memory alive?
Yeah, of course. So Jessie Combs, she was a TV personality, but she was a metal fabricator, she was a builder. So even on this bike, so her and I built this motorcycle together. She was a racer. She raced this, Jeep right behind us, an Ultra 4. I raced with her too. She did everything. She loved automotive. She loved motorsports in general, and she loved community, and she loved that connection of building like that. And so when her and I kind of got together, it was creating that with Real Deal. And she loved going fast, obviously. And she unfortunately left all of us as the fastest woman on earth. But her story it's so inspiring to understand that she knew that was possible. She knew that it was a possibility of not being around afterwards, and she still kept going after it. And the idea is that we need to all keep living and to live your best life. And like you said, it's not. When we started Real Deal, it was about being the real deal. That's what people would tell her all the time. People would tell me all the time, like, wow, you're the real deal. Yeah. Because we walked our walk. And it's exactly what you're saying. There's no talk. It's not like, oh, hey, all this fluff. It's like, here you go. This is just what I do. I know what I do, and I'm good at it. And it's not, but it's liking it. It's not just saying that. It's just, I just love doing this, And so it was really about that, and that's how she was. She just embodied that. She had this beautiful energy that when she walked into the room, people felt it, And to me, that's what we're doing today is continuing, her connection. We all have the bandana.
Oh, I noticed that. I didn't know
That's
why.
the polka dots.
Would she wear that? Is that?
So Rosie the Riveter is where that started.
I recognize that.
Yep,
the arm.
The arm, yep, yep.
So I know some things.
So that's where that started, right? And she loved that empowerment of women back then. That same thing. They just needed people to work, and so women were like, "Hey, we're here. Let's do this." Kind of like what you're saying. And She took that, so she welded for Lincoln Electric.
Okay.
And so she did a helmet. She had a helmet that was red and white polka dot, and that was her signature thing. So then after she had passed, the foundation started with these bandanas, and that's how we keep her memory alive. So we kind of have them everywhere. On the bike, on the, we all take her with us wherever we go and continue to live with her memory with us everywhere. Yeah.
And that's really cool because, like, I shared my story with you about my dad,
Yeah.
and I know that's what my dad wanted me to do too. I know
Yeah.
the rest of my family is having a really hard time with the grieving process, and
It's
for
hard.
me,
it doesn't get easier.
it's like you go from one,
Yeah.
like you can be driven and everything, and then you feel other parts of grief, and it's being able to find a purpose within that, or give a purpose to it. Not that they died for a reason, but like, I'm not going to let my dad have died and not use that grief
Yeah.
to do something positive with it, because I know that that's what he would want me to do.
Love it. Yeah.
And like, I want to inspire other people that are new like me. That's why I'm doing my channel and stuff like that, so they can follow me with my journey and meeting you guys. And that's like what your aim is, right? To
Yeah,
help bring-
100%. Yeah, and we want to know you're supported, and anyone else is supported too. And it's because it's hard, because sometimes you think you're alone. And, in whatever that is, the grieving process, because you're mourning, because you're in something and working on, you're like, why is this happening? And we all get stuck in those moments, and sometimes we just need someone to be there for us, and it lifts you up in a different way to know, because no matter what, we need to do it ourselves. And that, you touched on that earlier about the workshops. We don't do something for someone, they do it themselves. And that empowers them, because they realize that they're capable of something they didn't know that they were capable of doing, and now they are. And that's the concept that we're trying to instill in someone, is like, you can do anything.
Yeah.
Like, you just said, oh, I've never done that before, and now you can do it 5 minutes later or an hour later, whatever that is. And that's the idea. You can do anything you want as long as you work at it and do something. And times get tough, so we all know that we kind of need to be there for each other, and it is. It's like, and you probably talk to your dad and have those moments, and I do the same thing with Jesse, and we all want to be there for everyone and know that they're supported in those moments and build this community like that.
And I love that. I'm really excited to
Yeah.
like get connected with you guys.
Good,
and
awesome.
Everything like that.
Yeah.
So do you have any particular projects in specific that you're working on right now? Like you guys are here and you've come together under the She Shed. Like, is there a particular specific project you guys are working on right now?
So we do Real Deal Revolution specifically does traveling workshops. So we go to different events all over the country. So all over the United States, we go from New York City to Sturgis to Texas. So we're all over. So we do different traveling workshops all over the place. We don't have anything in particular. We're working on what's next and what's out there. This came together in the last 6 weeks. So all of us kind of going like, why are we not doing this? Like we've been, and don't get me wrong, we've been talking about it, and it's been something that's kind of organically been like, hey, we need to be doing this and supporting each other. And what does that look like? So yeah, it's like the next step. And then it finally evolved into that, because we were like, but this happened so easy. And I was like, no, because we've all been building it for so long.
You just hadn't taken that one step.
That's why we thought it was easy, because it's the same thing. It seems hard in the beginning, and then afterwards things just flow, and you're like, oh, it was easy. Look at all the work you put into that.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us about the bike that we're standing
Yes,
in front of?
of course. So this motorcycle, the BMW R9T right here, 2015, Jessie Combs and myself built this. The exciting part was she was like, hey, just design the bike and tell me what to do. And I was like, really? So I love designing things like that. That was kind of exciting. And even for me, I was always just doing things other people wanted. And then she was like, do something that you want to do. And I was like, this is exciting. So this is kind of my design and custom paint. But then she created these amazing pieces of work right here. So this fairing, she was just learning how to do metal shape and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So she metal shaped, she hand shaped this entire fairing, welded it. So on the top, I finished it off nicely with, some body filler and stuff, but the underside is all raw. So you can see how nice her work was. like her all the metal work right there. So if you like fill it, if you fill the bottom, like you can fill the bumps in it a little. You feel the tops a little, but it was really good. Like she did a great job on that. We used these like rivets that were kind of like the airplane type look.
I saw that right underneath the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. She welded like these the foot pegs on as well. She did upholstery too. So she custom made this seat that turned out freaking amazing, you know, and then the tail going underneath. So this was like, we started this from BMW. They gave us the bike to customize. We used some of their aftermarket parts, but then we customized them and reimagined them. So like you can purchase this cone from BMW, but then she put the underside on and then did these rivets on the side. So we turned it into a custom piece like that.
Wow.
And yes, we do ride it. Jesse would ride it. I still ride it. We freaking love riding this bike. It's great. Yeah, and then I painted it. I love this idea of matte and gloss finishes, so you can really see things. It's an
contrast.
Yes, and it's actually an aluminum tank. So all of this is raw aluminum right here.
Oh, cool.
And then I did airbrushing and a distressed look, and then I painted it. So I really like the idea of all these feels because everyone's always like, oh, it has to be matchy. And to me, it's like this kind of glitzy part on top and then the rawness and distress part. I really like the way some of those, that juxtaposition like comes together like that. So, and you feel the rawness of the bike, but then it's like kind of pretty and sexy, you know? So it's got everything, you know?
When you get closer, you can see all the details. Like I didn't realize like the handles here.
Yeah,
like,
we did leather handles like that. I know, so many little details. Yeah,
That's awesome.
And it's funny because so we even finished things off. We like chopped all the cranks off and stuff like that, like little tiny finishes. We did the clip-ons on it. We did this custom gas top on top. It's pretty rad, right? Yep. We had a Crafty Bee make that for us, so we designed it. Sarsain, her and I grabbed life by the balls because that's how we were. It's just
That's
like
awesome. It's actually engraved on there.
it sure is. It sure
Awesome.
is. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
that's our idea. And it's like what you said. Your dad wouldn't want you to not continue to live. Like you keep living. You even live better, you know, because of it. And it's like understanding that and where it takes you, you know. So
It gives you more of a why.
yeah, totally.
Like, I have all this pain, but I feel like the most amazing things are born out of trauma of some kind. If it's used.
I agree.
Because like really, really successful people, a lot of the times if you really get down to the nitty gritty, like they have had traumatic past and they've used that pain or those experiences
Because they
to
don't
their
want it to
benefit.
happen again or
Exactly.
whatever it is. Yeah.
And helping other people. That's one thing I'm learning about myself is what I'm doing. I want to help other people not feel the way that I do on a regular basis or how I did as a kid.
Yeah.
So being able to like connection is my thing because I felt so lonely and depressed and anxious and suicidal like all of my life. So now I'm working on myself, not fixing those things, but learning how to be the best possible version of myself and helping other people. So I really thank you so much for not only doing this interview with me, but like sharing the community with me. I'm really excited to get to know everybody.
Awesome.
But how would people be able to follow along with you as well as everybody else, like in the She Shed and everything like that?
Yeah, no, of course. For Real Deal, it's realdealrevolution.org. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. For Instagram, sorry, I'm trying to think for a minute. It's at Real Deal Revolution, and then Facebook is just Real Deal Revolution as well. The Jesse Combs Foundation is just that, the jessecombsfoundation.org as well. I think it's .org and .com. Don't correct me on that. And then Instagram is the same, the Jesse Combs Foundation. And then we have Girl Gang Garage, same thing, girlganggarage.com and then at Girl Gang Garage.
Perfect. And I'll get that information from you so that I can put it in the description so that if you guys are interested in learning more and following along with what they're doing, helping out, getting involved, all of those things.
Yep, teaching workshops, taking a workshop, whatever it is.
I love it.
All of it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am back outside. I did not bring my sunglasses with me. There was a gentleman I talked to the other day. I would love to have him explain his project because I feel like that's kind of the theme for today is seeing who I can interview about the projects they've worked on and kind of learning more about what and why and all of that stuff, especially for someone like myself. Like I look at these cars and I think they're really pretty and I like the color, but like I don't really know much about what I'm looking at. So having them go through and explain what it is and why and how and all that stuff I find super interesting. So I'm gonna go and try to find a couple more interviews because now it's about 3 o'clock and I've been talking a lot, which is very normal for me. But I am gonna see how many more interviews I can get before the day's over. This is Chad. I met him yesterday.
Yep.
And this is your build.
It is.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about it?
Sure. So my name's Chad Whitlock. I'm the owner of Boneyard Builds. So me and my team have built this car over the last 2 years. It's for actually local to us customer out of Birmingham, Alabama. And he kind of had a little bit of a vision and gave me pretty much creative freedom on it within a certain parameter. So he let us run with it, and we couldn't be more pleased with the end result.
That's really cool. And did he give you like a reason why he wanted, like, does it have like a backstory?
Not really. It's not a sentimental car. He wanted a convertible. He wanted it silver with a stripe up the center, and we're a long way from that, but it's kind of similar. It's got a lot of pearls. So he came and saw it last week actually because he wasn't able to make it here, and I asked him if it was what he had in mind. He said not at all, but it's badass. So
the first time he saw it was last week?
Yeah, he hadn't seen it at all. He was one of those guys that just wants to see it when it's done.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then so when you mentioned the stripe, so he mentioned down the middle, why did you decide to do it off to the side?
Everything I do, I try to be different. I don't like looking like everything else. I'm not a huge Corvette fan. I'm not a chrome fan. So this was really out of my wheelhouse. So I just wanted to make it something completely different. I like muscle. I like as much tire as you can possibly stuff under something. So we did it. So we tried to make a convertible look muscly, and I think we did it.
And you mentioned you don't like Corvettes. Why did you choose this job then?
It's because it was something different. We've done a lot of trucks. We've done a lot of Camaros, Mustangs. This was just something really out of our box. So it gave me an opportunity to step out and do something completely different for us. And I've got a fantastic team. We've all been really involved in it. So couldn't be more proud.
So you do the design and like so you say you have a team, like what do you do specifically?
We all have I'm pretty much fabricator and painter. I've got a great body guy. I've got Ray who does a lot of our tedious stuff, electrical. We're filming a video here. So Ray does a lot of the final assembly, some of the detail-oriented stuff. And then I've got some other guys that just helped in other ways. So it's just watching the team come together on it the last 3 weeks is very humbling. Makes you feel good.
Awesome. And so you're here at SEMA.
Right.
Because I haven't actually asked anybody, what qualifies cars to be able to come to SEMA, and like how does this fit in?
So typically you get picked up by a vendor or a brand or something that your vehicle's representing. We've got a Bowler transmission. Mark Bowler's been fantastic. He's huge in HRIA. We brought a truck here in 2019 for HRIA, and man, it's opened a lot of doors for me. It's probably a big part of why I am where we are today, and I hope this just further moves us forward.
Awesome. Well, would you mind
giving
us a tour? Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like I'm gonna have to. Oh no.
So we've got the hood on an actuator.
So
we could clean up the firewall.
When you said to put the hood up, I didn't realize.
You weren't expecting that?
Yeah. That's so cool. All right, so tell us a little bit more about this hood here.
Yeah, so we put it on an actuator because we wanted to keep the firewall and the whole engine bay as sanitary as possible. When I design something in my head, I try to pick the things that I don't like about a car and figure out how to get rid of them. And one of the things for me is the ugly latch and striker assembly on a factory mid-year vet. So we knew we were getting rid of that right out of the gate, and this is what we came up with.
That's so cool. And do they typically come up that direction? Like,
they do, yes.
Okay.
That's normal. They normally have some grids here in the cowl. We got rid of the vents there and we cleaned it up. We changed the taper of the firewall so we could slick it up.
Oh, should I come this way then so I can see?
Yeah, so we changed the taper of the firewall and cleaned all this up.
That's beautiful.
And then we made some closeout panels. We've got a lot going on under there. We have heat exchanger pump, got our power steering reservoir, we've got a Mighty Mouse catch can, a lot of things hidden behind the panels because I didn't want to see any hoses or lines or wires unless we just absolutely had to.
Yeah, I noticed it just looks very clean.
Right.
Like that's what I like a lot about a lot of the cars that I've seen is that there's not like a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
That's so
and it's
cool.
so hard to, that's what takes the time.
Awesome. That you were mentioning a massive tire. You weren't joking.
Yeah, we're running 285 in the front and 325 in the rear. Rotiform wheels and then advanced plating did a phenomenal job. Everything that should be chrome is brushed black chrome.
Yeah, I like black.
Yeah, I'm not a chrome guy.
So you said that the back tire is bigger?
Yeah, it's a 325.
Okay. What's the difference when you have a bigger tire in the back? Does it have like a functional purpose?
Better traction.
Okay.
The more rubber you can get to the ground, usually the better traction
Okay, got
for
it.
handling or acceleration.
My dad had talked about tubbing ours,
Yep.
and that makes it wider, but not like the wheel itself.
Correct. So the tub is it's what the tire rides in. So a wider tub allows you to put a wider wheel and tire.
Got it. And then so this one is just a bigger wheel, it's not wide.
Well, we did a good bit in this one too. So
Okay.
with it all being fiberglass, we pretty much made our own rear tubs and in the front as well. So we can
that's
stuff
cool.
more tire.
Yeah,
in.
because I noticed it looked pretty. Let me see if I can zoom in here. It's a pretty wide tire. I didn't realize that. That is so cool.
Right. But we've got some little accent lights, and then we've got an iPad that controls the air conditioning and the stereo. So it's all run off the iPad.
I love how clean and it's modern, but it doesn't look too gaudy.
Right.
Because I noticed that some, like when you do the interior and like you redo
It can
the
be too
inside-
much pretty quick. So with this being a convertible, it's kind of in your face all the time. You see a lot of it. So we felt like less is more. We did some pretty good attention to detail on the door panels. Justin from Team Wit did an amazing job with them.
That's awesome.
Team Wit worked with us really well on it. They do killer work. And then the rest of the interior, for the most part, we did in-house.
That's awesome. And then so with convertible, was this like manual convertible before, or like how did it work?
It is, and it still is. It's still
Okay.
a manual convertible. Hopefully the top doesn't go up too much. It's not the prettiest top, but it's a black canvas top. It looks pretty good with the top up. It just looks better with the top down.
I had to cut off my hair because when it was too long, it would like knot up and everything. My friend had a
Convertible?
Mustang in high school, and I didn't like riding in it. But now my hair's a little bit shorter, so
That's right. It wouldn't
might have
matter
to
as
try a
much.
convertible. I have to get a second car then.
So on the brake lights, we've actually got them where the
Oh no way! It almost looks like it's going the opposite direction.
so the light up backup lights. We in reverse.
Yeah. That is cool. You finished this car. What is your next project? Do you have something already planned, or are you already working on something?
I've got too many in the shop right now. We've got 11 to go back to. So a couple that are in the plans, probably a SEMA 25 in the near future. And then a couple of things that are more local guys because we do a little bit of all of it. I enjoy the high-end stuff, but also I like working with some local folks on driver quality things.
Well, and you mentioned this was kind of different and a challenge for
Correct.
you. Are
Correct.
any of the projects that you're working on or going to start working on, are any of those something different that you haven't done?
Absolutely. So we've got a 53 Ford. That's going to be probably our next big thing. Don't know exactly which direction we're going with it yet, but definitely something out of the box with that as well.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Sure.
giving me this tour. The hood was probably like the
That's
most.
your favorite?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I was expecting him to like manually put it down. He's like,
Right.
oh, push the button.
Yep.
How can people follow you and your future builds?
So our biggest footprint's Instagram. We're also on Facebook. We've got a TikTok, but Instagram's probably the one I use the most. Be the best thing for us, and it's all Boneyard Builds. So Boneyard Builds, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all Boneyard Builds. I think TikTok's Boneyard.builds, but everything
Okay.
else is just Boneyard Builds.
Perfect. And I'll make sure to put all the information in the description.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Enjoy
And
it.
hopefully we'll see you next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that is a wrap. It was a great day of amazing interviews. Hopefully I have more planned for the rest of the week that I wasn't able to get done today. I am going to head back to the Richmond transmission booth, and tonight I got invited to hang out with the ladies from the She Shed and meet some other women in the industry, hopefully build some new relationships. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.